Hey everyone, this is Stephen Strawn at Cast Iron Cookware, where you can find information to help you better collect, restore, and use cast iron cookware. Today I picked up a few pieces that I added to my Birmingham Stove and Range collection, and I'm going to share those coming right up. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's purchased my product, Easy Beezy Cast Iron Seasoning. The purchase of this product helps keep this channel going, and I just want to say thank you so very much. If you've noticed here recently, I've had a little bit of problems with my website. I switched to a different hosting company, so there was about a week when our easybeezy.com was down, but it's now back up and running. So if you're looking for my seasoning product, Easy Beezy, you can now go to easybeezy.com and it should be fully functioning. If not, please say something in the comments and let me know. So let's get on into the video. Today was the first full day of the 2022 National Cornbread Festival. So I went up and spent a few hours just kind of checking the place out. More importantly, today I spent a little bit of time with a friend of mine that I have been corresponding with on Facebook for probably 3 years, give or take. Not really sure how long it's been, but we've never met face to face. And I just want to give a shout out to Mike and his wife Sue and also his sister-in-law Sandy. I really had a good time hanging out with you guys today at the National Cornbread Festival because Mike knew that I was interested in Birmingham Stove and Range, and I was working on putting together a set of Lady Bess series. So he sent me a message saying there's a Lady Bess with a cornbread handle, and it's going to be this one right here, that's for sale on Facebook, and you might want to check it out. So I checked it out, and they said, no, we only have pickup only. So my friend told me, tell you what, it's not too far from here. I'll take a road trip, I'll pick it up, and when we meet at the National Cornbread Festival, I'll just bring it to you. And I'm thinking, man, that is so nice. So here it is, one of my new additions to my Lady Bess series, a Birmingham Stove and Range Lady Bess number 6. Now it's the same size as a number 3 with a cornbread handle. I have the same skillet in the wood handle. And here it is. This is one I picked up a few years ago at a flea market. And I don't have any of the cornbread handles, only the wood ones. Still missing a few pieces in the set. And he said, it's also got the lid. And I'm thinking, hey, it don't have a lid. And it had this little lid right here. And this lid comes from the potpourri. So I'm one step closer having a complete potpourri piece. It's got 4 holes. In this part of the Lady Bess, it looks a lot like the BSR camp style series lids, the little half silver dollar size right here, maybe a little larger than a silver dollar. So I'm halfway to getting the potpourri. Either way, it was awesome meeting somebody face to face that I have been knowing for quite a few years. That's the one thing I really love about collecting cast iron. Is you make friends all over the place, all over the United States, all over the world. So back to the story. He also brought me this Red Mountain griddle. And here you can tell it's a Red Mountain mainly because of the font right here. We have a number 8, and comes from the B mold. And one thing that's kind of unique when it comes to the Birmingham Stove and Range, most have a ridge on the bottom, but there are a few pieces that are exceptions to the rule. One being the Lady Bess, another one being the griddle. This one right here, it has an arch, no ridge, slight teardrop shape, but it doesn't look anything like a BSR handle, but this is definitely a Birmingham Stove and Range. Now we look at the front, we have wonderful, beautiful mill swirls. This came from the factory. This was not done with a wire wheel. And it's got a little bit of a rim around the bottom. Now, The bottom will actually make contact with the surface of your stove, but there's a little gap right around the edge. And we have a little bit of a rim, just enough to keep some of your oils and liquids in there if you're doing something like a grilled cheese and butter or maybe frying an egg. I had one, but mine looked really bad. It was pitted, it has some discoloration, and this one here, once I get it cleaned up, and I'm probably not going to be putting a lot of layers on it because I like the way this milling has been done in the factory. It's a nice piece to show. Not to mention a couple of more pieces that my friend had helped me with. This one here is a little ashtray, and it is a Birmingham Stove and Range company. Now, if you have watched any of my programs on Birmingham Stove and Range, you know that they don't mark very many pieces, or they didn't mark very many pieces. You'll see a few pieces with Birmingham Stove and Range on them, but those are very few and far between. Most all of them are unmarked. I already had a simple plain ashtray that was Birmingham Stove and Range. Has the telltale little giveaway signs, the ridge on the handle, and also kind of a teardrop hanger hole. But this one right here says Birmingham Stove and Range, and I'm telling you what, I really like that. And he had another advertising piece that was made by Birmingham, the same size ashtray. It says Birmingham, Alabama, Vulcan Park. You will see gas companies, electric companies, and all kinds of things on them. Now here's one that I purchased from a friend of mine, another connection that I made through cast iron, and that is, I'm going to mention his first name. This is from a friend of mine, Keith. I picked up this at his booth, and this one has Birmingham Stove and Range, Birmingham, Alabama. Like I said, you don't see very many Birmingham Stove and Range marked pieces. Either way, I got to add to my marked pieces of Birmingham Stove and Range. And going back, I don't want to forget that the same friend turned me on to this little square skillet. That's a Lady Bess series small fry. But this is a Birmingham Stove and Range piece from the Lady Bess series. And it's like a single egg skillet or a single grilled cheese skillet. This special little number 5 Birmingham Stove and Range Century series, complete with an inspection mark. Now, a lot of people have asked me, what is that Phillips screw head or flathead screw head mark in the bottom? Those are inspection marks, or quality control marks. So whenever they thought they were having an issue with a specific mold, but they weren't sure, they would go and they would put a screw. I don't know if they either done it in the mold itself or they done it in the sand. I'm not really sure. But they would put that mark in there, so when they come off the production line, they'd say, okay, there's the one with the mark. Take a look at some of it. And they look for the defect that they were expecting, or maybe they're just checking to see if it's in good working order. So, no, not a problem. Everything's good. You can go ahead and take the screw mark out, put it in another mold. We'll check it later. But this one here is really special. It has a D in the bottom of the handle, right there in the teardrop. Now, the curious thing about it is we have seen these with 1, 2, and 3. I've even seen them with A, B, and C, but never with a D. Now, it has been kind of thrown around that those little numbers were for shifts, maybe first, second, and third shift, and that's how they signified them. But I'm not seeing that working out with a D. Kind of questioning the idea of it being a shift mark and maybe just another type of mold mark. Maybe this mark right here, maybe they quit putting the mold mark up here and started putting the mold mark here. The curious thing is I've not seen anything go above a D, usually A, B, or C. So if you know anything about that, please leave it in the comments. Me, and I'm sure everyone else, would be interested to know if you have an answer. I've got a unicorn, and this came from my friend as well. So he really came to me with a nice little haul. And this looks like a Birmingham Stove and Range skillet, except for it does not have a heat ring, which that tells me this is not a Birmingham Stove and Range. Even though it has the same ridge as the Birmingham Stove and Range, the same teardrop hanger hole, the same shape, the same pour spouts, pretty much all around Birmingham Stove and Range, except for the heat ring. And this one right here is a number 3, but it doesn't say anything on it. Now right here on the side, if you can see that, we have a number 1 right there on the handle. Going back to the possibility of this being a shift mark, but like I said, I don't know. Now these have been ruled out to be Birmingham Stove and Range. Now there's a lot of collectors out there collecting these because they believe someday someone will come up with documentation, catalog, or something saying these were Birmingham Stove and Range. But so far, these are not considered Birmingham Stove and Range, even though the BSR collectors are grabbing every one of them they can find. So a nice little haul and nice pieces that I can add to my Birmingham Stove and Range collection. And really excited about that. More than anything, I'm excited about connections that I've made through cast iron cookware. I had a great time hanging out today with an old friend that I finally got to meet face to face. So I just want to take a minute just to kind of share, just excited about the day. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I promise I'll keep more coming. And I just want to say thank you again for watching Cast Iron Cookware. Before you go, I want to share something with you really quickly. In Proverbs chapter 27, verse 9, it says, "Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So doth the sweetness of a man's friends by heartly counsel." I just want to say, share the word and be a blessing.